Hello, thank you for joining us for today's SendMyAd webinar for May 2016. We are going to talk about a couple of things that we come across in support pretty often, and that's understanding how revisions are detected and how you can help your advertisers when they've reached the limit of revisions and how to set those. So it's a pretty common thing. So we're going to take you through kind of the whole scenario with that. And then we're also going to do a more in-depth tutorial about personalizing the portal. Now there's lots of aspects to that, but today I want to focus on how to customize text in the site, how you can maybe guide your users by adding on top of our included help and the text that's actually in various screens. So we'll show you how to do that. We'll review email templates, which I think most of you are pretty familiar with, but we'd like to talk a little bit about that. And then a couple user preferences that can be useful. We're using the GoToWebinar client, and there's a zoom button. You may need to expand your screen if you want to see everything that I'm showing. And if you have any questions, feel free to send those whenever. You can just type those in your GoToWebinar control panel, the little software. And we'll either answer those as they come up if they're relevant, or we may circle back at the end. So, all right, well, let's move on to our demo. Okay, I'm going to log in first as a publisher user. And let's talk about just in general what happens with revisions. You have a preference, and that's in your company profile. And let's look at our settings. This is in, sorry, I probably scrolled too fast there. It's in your company profile, in your print ad settings. Now, I know we have a lot of settings in here, especially for print ads. But if you scroll down, you'll see an item here about revising ads. And you'll see here you have a maximum number of revisions per user. Okay, 0 is unlimited, and anything else is where we cap it. Now, 0, unlimited revisions, that initially sounds good until you realize that you're paying for those. Every time an advertiser's uploading, you've got to, whatever your contract is with us, it's costing you. And if you have an advertiser who's having a particularly difficult time with an ad, they can just keep sending and keep sending and keep sending their ad, and it just costs you more and more. Sometimes they don't know what they're doing and they need help, and so this is a way for you to sort of prompt them, give them a reasonable number of tries, and if they still can't get it, then they're prompted to, hey, please contact us because maybe we can help you out. You don't want your users getting frustrated with the portal. Okay, so we've got that set at 2. Okay, let's take a look at the message that they get. So let's say we're going to try to revise this ad. Okay, and because this has 2 revisions already, you can see that over here, we come up with this warning that says the revision limit has been reached. We allow 3 revisions per ad. That's actually not correct, but I'll show you where that is because this is going to circle back to our customization discussion. You notice this icon is something that you haven't seen before. It's a custom thing. And but anyway, this text you can customize, and you can say whatever it is, whatever message you want your possibly frustrated advertiser to know. Okay, so that's what happens if they try to upload again. Let's actually do a couple of uploads. Okay. So let's do this. Now, also, you'll notice that this is different. And again, this is a customization thing that we'll talk about. We'll circle back to that. Okay, but let's upload a file here. I've got a small file. We'll just quickly upload. Okay, or I guess I should say we'll try to upload. Okay, and that's the interesting thing here. Even though I didn't start at the ad that had reached the revision limit, we've bumped into the system-wide revision limit detection. And this happens, you'll notice it happens before I even select a file. Okay, so what's the typical thing you or I or anybody does when they're revising a file? You know, they come here in the name and they put V1, V2, V3, R1, R2, you know, whatever it is. But a very, very common misconception is that we're somehow keying our revision limit detection based on that file name. Well, that's the reason we don't do it, because that's the easiest way to circumvent that. Okay. For us, it's not important what that file name is because we know that that can change. What's important is we look to see, is this a particular user that's uploaded in the last 24 hours or so? Are they uploading to the same publication, the same ad size, and the same issue? Okay, if so, if it's an advertiser, very likely they are trying to upload a revision. Okay, and if we've reached that limit, we lock them out. Okay. Well, if that's not what you want, and if in this case, let's say that this user, let's say that this user has, sorry, excuse me, my phone ringing here.
Hello, please leave a message after the tone.
Okay, so let's say that we know, for example, that this ad they're struggling with, but we know that we've got a good ad, or we want to help them out and boost that revision limit. We can do that per ad right here. You as a publisher can go in, they can't see this, only you as a publisher. So you can boost the revision limit right there. And if you click this, it will allow up to 5 more revisions on this file. And this is something that you can keep doing. Okay, so you can keep adding. You know, they blow through 5 more times. You can change that there. Okay. Now let's try again. Okay, and let's try to revise the ad. And now you can see I have the opportunity to do that. And that will work the same if I go back here and I try to send another file. Okay, I don't have to step all the way through that, but you can see that the change there allows me to continue to upload. Now, that handles it per file, but what if you're dealing with a user who's got lots of different ads and they're stumbling into this with a variety of ads? Okay, maybe it's an agency type situation. Well, you can adjust that here under your customers. And you can do this in two places, but it's really the same. It's really the same thing. So let's say this is my advertiser, and I know that he's having trouble with this. Okay, this is my user. It's a particular login. I can boost their revision limit here. So I can say that in addition to my global setting of 2 revisions allowed, I can let this user have an additional 3. Okay, we know that they struggle with getting their files correct, or they have a very lengthy revision cycle on their side. So that will adjust it for them there. Now you can also, under customers, you can say here in the companies that by company you can do this. So this is an advertiser company, and I can add additional revisions here for that particular company, and that will handle it for any users in that company. It's actually kind of the same thing. I mean, it's you set it in 2 different places, but for that company will allow you to boost their additional items for revisions. So that's pretty easy. Now, if you're uploading a file and you've run into that revision limit, or you haven't quite reached it, but you're uploading ads to the same spec, the same issue, the same the same set of circumstances here. Very often the user will get an interface like this, and it will ask them, is this a revision or is it a new ad? Now, this is where the advertiser can sidestep things. Okay, it comes up with, it does show the file name for the most, what we think is a possible revision, and it gives them the choice. No, this is a new ad, or yes, I want to associate this upload with a previous attempt. Okay, this is kind of the way that an advertiser can sidestep the revision limit. I mean, eventually, if they keep going, they'll trip the revision limit one way or the other. But that's there so that we don't frustrate the users unnecessarily. Most of you have turned on the ability to get an email when users are sending you files. So you're going to see that advertiser A has just sent you 3, 4, 5 versions of a file. So hopefully your materials receiver is sending an email or picking up the phone and saying, hey, we're here to help. So, but anyway, that's how that works. The important thing is to remember that the file name is not significant in any way. It's really all about, has this advertiser in the last day tried to upload something to a particular publication, issue, and size. Okay? And that's really all that comes into play there. Okay, well, we saw a couple instances where I had some non-standard, and hey, I'm not a designer, so pretty ugly customizations to some of these screens. But let's talk about where those come from and what you can do with them. So again, we go back to our company profile, and we are going to look first at the ad upload form. So let's take a look, and that's under print ad settings, right at the top, ad upload form, and there's this manage ad upload form message. Okay, now this is where that ugly little text is coming from. I had just like a border and some boilerplate text, and then here I have what's an image and a link. Now, you've all seen this text editor before. We use it for editing text in the site, custom text, as well as you're probably more familiar with it with email notifications. This is normally it's a what you see is what you get type editor. It's meant to make it easy so that you can bold things, and you don't even think about it. It's HTML, but it's meant to work more like a word processor. Now, you don't have to use the WYSIWYG interface though, and this is where it starts to become more powerful. If you switch to what is labeled the source code view, that will show you the equivalent of what you saw in the preview as HTML. Now, you can turn your web developers loose on this sort of stuff, and you can't get too crazy because remember your text has to fit inside of an existing web application, okay? And you have to sort of play nice with what the rest of the SendMyAd page is doing. But within those limitations, you can do quite a lot. And so this one I wanted to show just a generic thing that some of our publishers are already doing. Some of you might not have thought about. But what I did here was I created an HTML div. So it's sort of something of like a logical grouping of some information and presentation. And I gave it a border and that sort of rounded corners. That's all coming from there. I changed the size of the text, and then I added my text itself, so that print ads submitted, blah blah blah. And then I put a link, and the link is it's an icon that just denotes a PDF file. But I'm linking to an external resource, which is a PDF file, and I just randomly grabbed, Googled for pre-press instructions, and I got one from R.R. Donnelly. But whatever instructions you might have that don't fit into this space, but you want to communicate that, hey, this is how you should be preparing your PDFs, or this is our legal policy for ads, or whatever it is that you want to put in front of an advertiser, so that you're sure that they see it. This is your opportunity, and those can be that can be text that's right there, or it can be links to these external resources. Okay. Once you have this in this view, again, you just save and close just like you do normally. Now, just to come back and show you that example, let's go to the send file, the SendMyAd form, and here it is. Okay. So now, one thing you might ask is, well, why does my text look different? If you look at it here, we've got black text here, we've got white text here. That's not exactly how I entered it. Well, let's come back and let's go back and look at that. Okay. You have to remember that these styles and how we enter this information, they look in here, they're sort of in one context. They're sort of this pure HTML that's within this special text editing view. Okay. But when we go to this form, these are influenced by other styles that exist within our application. So you can see that we have this dark background with white type, and that's our standard for the appearance. So you have to be. It takes a little experimentation. Any web developer that you point towards our site can easily look at our style sheets and how we are presenting information. You could use our styles, tag your text with our CSS styles, so that you get a consistent look, or a more consistent look. But just be aware that it's a standard web development issue, but you've got a lot of power there. And even though this is really ugly, it shows the point of, you can put your own text and it's very visible. You can call it out however you want. Okay. You can link to an external resource, and hopefully that helps you make the site look more like you want it, and it helps you help your users. Okay, let's take a look at another area where you have opportunity to customize text. That is in our company profile again. And we're going to go down to templates. Now, there's email templates, which again, you're probably most familiar with, and we're going to circle back to those in a couple minutes. But we have a bunch of general site text templates. And we've tried to make those self-explanatory for where they go. A lot of these have to do with, what happens in that upload form, or what happens in the ad details view. So various things like, if you take the first one here, when an ad has been approved and it's going to be sent on to you as the publisher, you have an opportunity to display some information. Okay? That's here, and I just put, okay, this was the original, but you can make it whatever you want. So, some of our text is very generic. We've tried to please everybody, but you can have it be very, very specific to your use. Okay. This is another one where I've thrown in, again, I have a custom icon, okay, and that's just something I found on the web. Okay, we're not going to host your images for you, but if you have some standard icons that you like to use on your corporate website, you can link to them. They're just a URL. Okay? It doesn't matter to us where they are. So you find out what your link is, and you can drop in a standard image source HTML tag, and there you go. It's very, very simple. Okay. Now, this is one that's interesting. Okay, now again, this was a quick hack that I did, but what I did was I dropped in a link to our video tutorial on how to reposition an ad. So all I did was I went to YouTube where we host those, found the embed code, and I dropped it into this. Now it's a little bit too big, but you could probably adjust it here. So, and where does that come up? Well, let's take a look. It's right here. So, this might be a little unwieldy, or it might be exactly what you want. Maybe maybe you don't like how we explain the trim tool. There's nothing preventing you from making your own video, host it on YouTube, host it on your own corporate site somewhere, Vimeo or anything, and find the embed code, figure out the right dimensions, and you can have it right in front of the user. So it's a way for you to easily link to things. And the main point of this is, don't limit yourself to text and what you can type into that tool. Remember, this is all HTML, and you can do some really, really interesting stuff with this. Okay, let's see. Let's circle back quickly and just talk about email templates, okay? Because you've done this before, I'm sure. You've gone in and you've changed different email templates. Now, those are in several different places. We have some generic ones that maybe are used in different places, like requesting materials. Okay, a lot of these have now been moved up into the specific area. So if you have digital ads, ad creator ads, tablet ads, each of those sections has specific notifications. Okay, but here's the typical ones that you're generally enabling. So notify us when an ad is is revised. Okay. You can edit the template, and you get that same editor. Again, you can view the raw source. And if you do that, you've got much more power than if you're just using these. Okay. Sometimes these the GUI stuff sometimes gets a little funny. Maybe it doesn't quite work all that well. I've noticed the list elements sometimes get kind of hard to deal with, and you might get an extra bullet or something like that. Well, just remember that you can switch into the source view, and it might be easier to clean up in there. But you can also, again, you can link to other images. You can link to your corporate legal policy. You can do all kinds of things by just switching to that view. But the other thing I want to mention, and this is a very common support issue that we have, and that is the variables. So what we call dynamic info or variables. It's simply text that is a particular code, which means something to us in SendMyAd, and it's surrounded by percentage signs. So it just denotes that we're going to substitute this code for actual information. It's like a mail merge in Word or something. What happens very often is, we present you with a menu with all of this information, and here we give it to you in plain English. Okay. But when you select one of these things, it gives us the machine code, the stuff that we need to search for and substitute. So you get add portal name all smushed together instead of add portal name in real English. But what happens is we actually have to, in the system, we have to tell each of these templates what information is available. And not every bit of information is always available in every template. It kind of depends on the context of what's going on when that particular email is sent. And so what some people will do, and it's clever, but they'll look at another template and they'll say, oh, I want to put booking number in here, but I don't see it in this menu maybe. But I know that in this other template, it's called percent booking capital NUM percent. So I'll just, copy and paste that in there and it'll work. And then it doesn't, or sometimes it'll work accidentally. But for the most part, if it's not in the menu, you're not going to get it. And so it'll just be passed through as that variable. Okay. So again, you can try it if you want, because like I said, every now and then it'll work by accident. But in general, if you don't see it, let us know. And a lot of times it's an oversight on our part because there's a lot of those variables. Okay. Sometimes we just missed one and there's a lot of templates. But it may be that information is just not available. We can make it available if it's important to you. So let us know and we'll put it in there for you. But don't think that you can just copy and paste between template and it will just automatically work, because the odds are that it won't. Okay, I want to wrap this up with just a quick look at some user preferences, because each user has a little bit of control over how the site looks for them. And so you should let your users know, both internal and your advertisers, that they can do things very simple, like turning on in their preferences, the app always defaults to dashboard. And for some users, that's very helpful because they might be coming in and they want to run reports. Maybe they just like to have that standard landing page when they come in. Otherwise, we try to default the user to where they were last time. So if you were looking at your list of company users and then you log out, next time you log in, that's where you'll be taken. That can be disorienting for some users. So app always defaults to dashboard. They always land in the same place. If they're an advertiser, they've got a button to send an ad right from there. So that's a good one to have. Another custom thing that's often overlooked is, especially for an advertiser who works with other people in their company who send ads to SendMyAd, they'll see other users' ads, and that may be confusing for them. So you can turn on the show only my ads right here, and it will do what it says. And that may be the easiest thing for some of your users. So it's a good thing to just know that it's there. Okay. Another level of customization is we're able to subscribe to events and to get notifications when those things happen. This is something that hasn't been around forever. It's not new, but it's relatively recent. So this sort of thing you can turn on. So for instance, if you want to know when ads are revised, okay, this is more of a publisher type thing. But you want to know when print ads are uploaded. These are just, you'll get one of these notifications every time someone is uploading an ad. So a lot of people interact with the system more through email notifications, and this is a way for them to customize what information they're being sent. Okay, and then the last thing I wanted to point out is down here in the look and feel, we have an ability to change the ad details view background color. So you can change that to whatever you want. Okay, and what we're talking about is right here. Okay, you can change that to be whatever you want, and in this case, that was probably not the wisest choice. So I can, I can go to users. And again, I can switch back to my look and feel, and I can quickly restore the default color. So that's something a user can do and do for themselves, and then control it and change it when they need to. Okay. So I hope this gives you an overview of the kinds of things that you can do. We've talked before about in the company profile, there's some stuff that you can do with CSS. These things deal with primarily the front login screen. Okay. But if you really want to get into the plumbing here, we do have this ad portal site CSS, and we use this when we customize a new portal for you. When a new customer signs on and they want their logo to appear a certain way, they want the header at the main top of the site to look a certain way. We're editing this stuff ourselves, and you have access to it. We give you a warning when you open it up that hey, you can really mess things up, and let us know if you do that. We can restore things to defaults, but you can sort of override some of our appearance settings. You can edit your header and that stuff up here. So there's lots of possibility if you want to dive into the HTML a little bit and the styles. But the main thing I would leave you with is, again, don't limit yourself to just text. Think about video, think about graphics, think about resources, think about colors and styles, and how you can make this a more enjoyable and a more useful experience for your users. Well, that wraps it up for us today. I want to thank you for joining us. Next month, we hopefully will have a new version of the site out, so we may have some new features to cover. But if there are some existing things that you'd like to learn about or review, please let us know. We'd be happy to add that to our agenda next month. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.